Lisa had always been the healthy one in her family. She jogged every morning, ate her vegetables, and never missed her yearly checkups. So when the strange symptoms started 3 years ago, she thought it was just stress from her new job. First, it was just tiredness, the kind that made her want to sleep for 12 hours but still wake up feeling like she hadn't rested at all. Her friends told her it was normal for someone in their 20s working long hours. Just drink more coffee, they said with a laugh. But then came the joint pain. Her knees would ache when she climbed stairs. Her wrists hurt when she typed on her computer. Even her fingers felt stiff when she tried to open jars. Lisa started taking pain medicine, thinking it would pass in a few weeks. The skin problems were the worst part. Red patches would appear on her arms and legs without warning. Sometimes they itched so badly she couldn't sleep. Other times they would burn like someone had poured hot water on her skin. The strange thing was, they would disappear just as suddenly as they came, leaving no trace behind. Lisa's first doctor visit was with Dr. Johnson, her family physician since childhood. He ran basic blood tests and told her everything looked normal. Maybe you need to reduce stress, he suggested, prescribing some vitamins and sending her home. When the symptoms got worse, Lisa went back. This time, Dr. Johnson referred her to a specialist. The rheumatologist, Dr. Chen, ran more tests. Blood work, x-rays, even an MRI. Everything came back normal. Sometimes these things just happen, she said with a shrug. Try this medication and see if it helps. The medication didn't help. If anything, Lisa felt worse. The fatigue became so bad she could barely get through a workday. She started calling in sick more often, which worried her boss. Her social life disappeared because she was too tired to go out with friends. Desperate for answers, Lisa started seeing different doctors. A dermatologist for her skin problems, an endocrinologist thinking it might be her thyroid, a neurologist wondering if something was wrong with her nervous system. Each doctor ran their own tests. Each test came back normal. Each doctor had a different theory but no real solution. The bills started piling up. Lisa's insurance covered some tests, but not all of them. She maxed out her credit cards, paying for specialists who couldn't give her any answers. Her savings account, which she had been building to buy a house, slowly emptied. Her family tried to be supportive, but Lisa could see the doubt in their eyes. When all the doctors said nothing was wrong, people started wondering if she was making it up. Her mother would ask if she was eating right. Her sister suggested she try yoga. Her father, always practical, told her maybe she just needed a vacation. The worst part wasn't the physical pain or even the medical bills. It was the loneliness. Lisa felt like she was fighting an invisible enemy that no one else could see. Friends stopped inviting her places because she canceled so often. Co-workers whispered about her frequent sick days. Even dating became impossible when she never knew if she would feel well enough to go out. At night, when the pain kept her awake, Lisa would lie in bed and wonder if this was her life now. Would she ever feel normal again? Would she spend the rest of her days going from doctor to doctor, searching for someone who could help her? After 2 years of failed treatments and empty promises, Lisa turned to the internet. She joined online support groups for people with mysterious illnesses. She read medical journals trying to understand her symptoms. She watched videos of people sharing their stories, hoping to find someone with similar problems. Most of the information online was either too technical to understand or clearly fake. But Lisa kept searching. She had to. The alternative was giving up, and she wasn't ready to do that yet. One night, while scrolling through a forum for people with undiagnosed conditions, Lisa found something different. It was a thread buried deep in the site, with only a few responses. The original post was from someone calling themselves Truth Seeker, who claimed they had found help at an underground clinic. The post was vague but intriguing. Truth Seeker wrote about suffering from symptoms similar to Lisa's for years before finding a doctor who used methods beyond traditional medicine. They didn't give details about the treatment, but they claimed to be completely healed. Most people would have dismissed it as another internet hoax. But Lisa was past caring about what seemed realistic. She had tried everything else. Traditional medicine had failed her completely. If there was even a small chance this could help, she had to investigate. Lisa sent a private message to Truth Seeker asking for more information. She didn't expect a response, but 3 days later, she found a reply in her inbox. It contained only a phone number and instructions to call after midnight. The whole thing felt like something from a movie, but Lisa's desperation outweighed her caution. She had spent 3 years of her life and thousands of dollars searching for answers. If this was her last hope, she was willing to take the risk. On a cold Tuesday night, Lisa sat by her phone watching the clock tick toward midnight. Her hands shook as she dialed the number. This felt like stepping off a cliff into the unknown, but she had nowhere else to fall. The voice on the phone was calm but mysterious. It belonged to a woman who spoke in short, careful sentences. She didn't ask Lisa's name or why she was calling. Instead, she gave Lisa an address on the outskirts of town and told her to come alone, at exactly midnight the next day. "Bring no electronic devices," the woman said. "No phone, no smartwatch, nothing that can record or track. If you bring anything electronic, the door will not open for you." The line went dead before Lisa could ask any questions. She stared at her phone, wondering if she had just made a terrible mistake. But what choice did she have? 3 years of traditional medicine had given her nothing but bills and false hope. The next evening, Lisa drove to the address. It was in an industrial area she had never visited before. Old warehouses lined the street, most of them dark and empty. Her GPS stopped working 2 blocks away, showing only static where the map should be. She had to find the building by counting street numbers. The building looked abandoned. Broken windows on the upper floors were covered with boards. Graffiti covered the walls near the entrance. A rusty fire escape hung loosely from one side. Lisa checked the address 3 times, sure she had made a mistake. But the numbers matched. This was definitely the place. Lisa sat in her car for 20 minutes watching the building. No lights came on inside. No one went in or out. She started to think this was all a cruel joke. Maybe someone online was playing with desperate people like her. At 11:58 p.m., Lisa finally got out of her car. She had come this far. She might as well knock on the door. The front entrance was a heavy metal door with no windows. Lisa knocked softly, then louder when no one answered. Just as she was about to give up, the door opened. The woman who opened it was not what Lisa expected. She was tall and elegant, probably in her 30s, with perfect skin that seemed to glow in the dim light. Her hair was long and dark, but it had an unusual shine to it, like it contained tiny lights. "You're on time," the woman said with a slight smile. "Good. Come in quickly." Lisa stepped inside and gasped. The interior was nothing like the outside. The walls were white and clean, almost glowing with their own light. Strange machines hummed quietly in the corners. The floor was made of some material Lisa had never seen before, smooth and warm under her feet. "I'm Dr. Vale," the woman said, closing the door behind them. "I've been expecting you." "How did you know I was coming?" Lisa asked. Dr. Vale smiled but didn't answer. Instead, she led Lisa down a hallway lined with doors. The ceiling was high, and Lisa could see panels of light that didn't look like normal fluorescent bulbs. Everything was quiet except for the soft humming of machines. "Tell me about your symptoms," Dr. Vale said as they walked. Lisa had told her story so many times to so many doctors. But somehow talking to Dr. Vale felt different. The woman listened without interrupting, nodding at certain parts as if she already knew what Lisa was going to say. The fatigue started. "First," Lisa began. "Then the joint pain, and these weird rashes that come and go." "How long have you had trouble sleeping?" Dr. Vale asked. Lisa stopped walking. "I never mentioned sleep problems." "You didn't have to," Dr. Vale said gently. "Your body language tells me everything. The way you hold your shoulders, the slight tremor in your hands, the dark circles under your eyes. I can see what traditional doctors cannot." They entered a room that looked like a medical examination room, but everything was wrong. The examination table was made of some kind of crystal that glowed softly. The instruments on the walls looked nothing like normal medical tools. Instead of a stethoscope, there was a device that looked like a small wand with lights on the end. Please sit, Dr. Vale said, gesturing to the crystal table. Lisa hesitated. What kind of doctor are you exactly? The kind that can help you, Dr. Vale replied. But first I need to examine you properly. Not the way other doctors have examined you. They look at your blood and your bones and your organs. I look at something deeper. Dr. Vale picked up the wand-like device. It hummed softly and cast a blue light over Lisa's body. The doctor moved it slowly from Lisa's head to her feet, watching the light change colors as it passed over different areas. Interesting, Dr. Vale murmured. Very interesting indeed. What do you see? Lisa asked. Your body is fighting itself, Dr. Vale said. But not because of disease. It's fighting because it's changing. Your cells are trying to become something new, but they don't know how. That's why you're in pain. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean, changing? Dr. Vale set down the device and looked directly at Lisa. Her eyes seemed to shimmer with an inner light, and for a moment, Lisa wondered if she was imagining things. Have you ever felt different from other people? Dr. Vale asked. Even as a child, did you sense things others couldn't? Did you have dreams that felt more real than your waking life? Lisa's mouth went dry. She had always felt different, but she had never told anyone. As a child, she used to dream about flying among stars. She could sometimes sense when people were upset before they showed it, but she had learned to keep these things to herself. How do you know about that? Lisa whispered. Because I've seen it before, Dr. Vale said. You're not the first person to come here with these symptoms, and you won't be the last. Dr. Vale walked to a cabinet and pulled out a folder full of photographs. She showed them to Lisa one by one. They were before and after pictures of people who looked sick and tired in the first photo, but vibrant and healthy in the second. What happened to them? Lisa asked. They learned to embrace what they were becoming, Dr. Vale said. Instead of fighting the change, they accepted it, and in doing so, they found peace. Lisa stared at the photos. The people in the after pictures didn't just look healthy. They looked somehow more alive than normal people. Their skin had a subtle glow, and their eyes were bright with an inner light. What are you saying? Lisa asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Dr. Vale smiled, and for the first time Lisa noticed that her teeth were perfectly white and seemed to gleam in the light. I'm saying that you're not sick, Lisa. You're evolving. Lisa stared at Dr. Vale, trying to process what she had just heard. Evolving? What do you mean by that? Dr. Vale gestured for Lisa to follow her to another room. This one was even stranger than the examination room. The walls were covered with charts that looked like star maps mixed with DNA diagrams. Crystals of different colors lined the shelves, each one glowing with its own soft light. Sit down, Dr. Vale said, pointing to a comfortable chair. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but I need you to listen with an open mind. Lisa sat down, her heart racing. Part of her wanted to run back to her car and drive home, but a bigger part of her needed to hear what Dr. Vale had to say. After 3 years of getting no answers, someone was finally offering an explanation. For thousands of years, Dr. Vale began, humans have carried something special in their DNA. Most people never activate it. They live normal lives and never know what they could become. But sometimes something triggers this hidden part of their genetic code. What kind of trigger? Lisa asked. Stress, trauma, illness, even strong emotions. Dr. Vale explained. Your body has been trying to activate these dormant genes for 3 years. That's why you've been sick. Your human DNA is fighting with something much older. Lisa felt dizzy. You're saying I'm not fully human? Dr. Vale smiled gently. You're human, but you're also something more. Think of it like this. Imagine a flower seed that's been sleeping in the ground for years. When the right conditions come together, it finally starts to grow. That's what's happening to you. Dr. Vale walked over to one of the star charts on the wall. Long ago, visitors came to Earth from distant stars. They didn't come to conquer or destroy. They came because they were dying out as a species. They needed to preserve their genetic material for future generations. You mean aliens? Lisa whispered. I prefer to call them our ancestors, Dr. Vale said. They mixed their DNA with early humans, creating hybrid children. Over time, this special DNA became dormant in most bloodlines, but it never disappeared completely. Lisa's head was spinning. This sounds like science fiction. I know it does, Dr. Vale said. But think about your symptoms. Think about the dreams you've had since childhood. Think about how you've always felt different from other people. Your body has been trying to tell you something for years. Dr. Vale pulled out a thick photo album and set it on the table between them. These are my other patients, people just like you who came here desperate for answers. She opened the album to the first page. It showed a young man who looked exhausted and sick in the first photo. In the second photo, taken just months later, he looked completely transformed. His skin had a healthy glow and his eyes were bright with energy. This is Tyler, Dr. Vale explained. He came to me with chronic fatigue and mysterious pain, just like you. Traditional doctors couldn't help him, but once we activated his dormant genes properly, he became stronger and healthier than ever before. She turned to the next page. A woman in her 40s before and after photos showing the same dramatic transformation. Then another page and another. Each story was similar. People with unexplained illnesses who found healing through Dr. Vale's unusual methods. What exactly do you do to help them? Lisa asked. The activation process requires a very specific treatment, Dr. Vale said. Your body is trying to change, but it doesn't know how. I provide the genetic information it needs to complete the transformation safely. What kind of treatment? Dr. Vale paused as if choosing her words carefully. My own DNA carries the complete genetic code that your body is trying to access. Through a special process, I can transfer the necessary information to help your cells understand what they're supposed to become. Lisa frowned. How do you transfer genetic information? Through direct biological contact, Dr. Vale said. Specifically, through my saliva. It contains the active genetic markers that your body needs. Lisa nearly fell out of her chair. Your saliva? I know it sounds strange, Dr. Vale said quickly, but saliva contains DNA, enzymes, and other biological information. In my case, it carries the activated genetic code that can help stabilize your transformation. You want to spit on me? Lisa asked, horrified. Dr. Vale laughed softly. Nothing so crude. The treatment involves applying my saliva to specific points on your body where the genetic activation is strongest. These correspond to the areas where you've been experiencing your skin problems. Lisa looked down at her arms where the mysterious rashes had been appearing and disappearing for months. Those spots? Exactly. Your body has been marking the places where the old DNA and the new DNA are trying to merge. Those rashes aren't symptoms of illness, they're symptoms of evolution. Dr. Vale showed Lisa more photos, close-up images, of people's skin during treatment. Lisa could see the same type of rashes she had been experiencing, but in the photos, they were glowing with a soft light. The saliva treatment helps your body understand how to complete the transformation, Dr. Vale continued. Instead of fighting the change, your cells learn to embrace it. The pain stops, the fatigue disappears, and you become what you were always meant to be. And what's that? Lisa asked. Someone with abilities that most humans can only dream of, Dr. Vale said. Enhanced strength, heightened senses, the ability to heal faster than normal. Some people develop telepathic abilities or can sense energy fields that others cannot detect. Lisa thought about her strange dreams, her ability to sense other people's emotions, the way she had always felt connected to something bigger than herself. Could Dr. Vale be telling the truth? Why should I believe any of this? Lisa asked. Dr. Vale stood up and walked to the window. As she moved, Lisa noticed something odd about her shadow. It seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it wasn't quite solid. Because deep down, you already know it's true, Dr. Vale said. You've felt different your entire life. You've had experiences that you couldn't explain to other people. Your body has been preparing for this moment for 3 years. Dr. Vale turned back to Lisa, and her eyes seemed to glow brighter than before. The question isn't whether you believe me. The question is whether you're ready to stop fighting what you're becoming and finally embrace it. Lisa sat in silence, staring at the photos spread across the table. Every logical part of her mind said this was impossible. But her heart, the part of her that had always known she was different, whispered that Dr. Vale might be telling the truth. "If I agree to this treatment," Lisa said slowly, "what happens to me?" Dr. Vale smiled. "You become who you were always meant to be." Lisa spent the next hour asking Dr. Vale every question she could think of. How long would the treatment take? Would it hurt? What if something went wrong? Dr. Vale answered each question patiently, never seeming annoyed or rushed. "The treatment itself takes about 4 hours," Dr. Vale explained. "You'll be conscious the entire time, but you might feel drowsy. Some people experience visions during the process, memories that aren't quite their own." "What kind of memories?" Lisa asked. "Genetic memories," Dr. Vale said. "Images and feelings passed down through your DNA from your ancestors. Some people see star systems they've never visited. Others experience emotions that feel ancient and familiar." Lisa's hands were shaking. 3 years of pain and exhaustion had brought her to this moment. She could walk away and continue suffering, or she could trust this strange woman with her life. "How do I know this will work?" Lisa asked. Dr. Vale pulled out her phone and showed Lisa a video. It was Tyler, the young man from the photo album, talking directly to the camera. His skin glowed with health and his eyes were bright with energy. "I was dying slowly for 2 years, Tyler said in the video. "Regular doctors gave up on me. Dr. Vale saved my life. I know the treatment sounds weird, but it works. I feel better than I ever have." The video showed other patients too, all speaking directly about their experiences. They looked healthy and happy, nothing like the sick people in there before. "Photos." "Okay," Lisa said finally. "I'll try it." Dr. Vale smiled. "Good. But first you need to understand that once we begin, there's no going back. Your body will complete the transformation whether we finish the treatment or not. It's safer to do it properly." Lisa nodded, though her stomach was full of butterflies. Dr. Vale led her to yet another room, this one filled with crystalline structures that hummed with energy. The treatment table was made of the same glowing crystal as the examination table, but larger. "Please remove your shirt and lie down," Dr. Vale said. "The treatment needs direct contact with your skin." Lisa hesitated for a moment, then did as she was told. The crystal table was surprisingly warm and comfortable. Dr. Vale dimmed the lights and activated several machines around the room. They hummed quietly, creating a peaceful atmosphere. "I'm going to start by mapping the exact locations where your genetic activation is strongest," Dr. Vale said. She held a device that looked like a small scanner over Lisa's body. Wherever Lisa's mysterious rashes had appeared over the past 3 years, the device beeped softly. "Just as I thought," Dr. Vale murmured. 7 primary activation points. This is actually quite rare. Most people only have 3 or 4. "Is that good or bad?" Lisa asked. "It means you have very strong genetic markers," Dr. Vale replied. "You'll likely develop more abilities than average once the transformation is complete." Dr. Vale prepared a small vial of clear liquid. "This is a stabilizing serum," she explained. "It will help your body accept the genetic information more easily." She injected the serum into Lisa's arm with a device that looked nothing like a normal needle. Lisa felt a warm sensation spread through her body, and her chronic pain began to fade for the first time in months. "Now comes the unusual part," Dr. Vale said gently. "I'm going to apply my saliva to each of the 7 activation points. The genetic information in my saliva will teach your cells how to complete the transformation safely." Lisa closed her eyes and tried to relax. She had come this far. Dr. Vale began with the first point on Lisa's left shoulder, where a particularly stubborn rash had appeared repeatedly over the past year. The moment Dr. Vale's saliva touched her skin, Lisa felt an electric sensation shoot through her body. It wasn't painful, more like a warm current of energy flowing from the spot where Dr. Vale had applied the treatment. "The reaction is very strong," Dr. Vale observed. "Your body is accepting the genetic information quickly." As Dr. Vale moved to the second activation point on Lisa's right arm, the electric sensation grew stronger. Lisa began to see flashes of light behind her closed eyelids. Colors she had never seen before danced in her vision. By the third activation point, Lisa was experiencing full visions. She saw vast star fields stretching across space. She felt like she was flying through galaxies at impossible speeds. The visions were so real she could feel cosmic wind on her face. "What's happening to me?" Lisa whispered. "You're accessing genetic memories," Dr. Vale said calmly, continuing with the fourth activation point. "Your ancestors' experiences are stored in your DNA. The treatment is unlocking them." The visions became more intense as Dr. Vale worked on the remaining activation points. Lisa saw a beautiful planet with 2 suns and crystal cities that reached toward the sky. She felt emotions that seemed to come from somewhere deep in her soul, a longing for home that she had never understood before. During the treatment of the 6th point, Lisa experienced something that shook her to her core. She saw through the eyes of one of her ancestors standing on Earth thousands of years ago. But the ancestor wasn't human, at least not entirely. Lisa could feel the difference in her body, the enhanced senses and strength that came with the mixed genetics. "I can see them," Lisa gasped. "I can see my ancestors." "Good," Dr. Vale said. "That means the genetic memories are integrating properly." When Dr. Vale applied the treatment to the 7th and final activation point, Lisa felt like every cell in her body was awakening. The chronic fatigue that had defined her life for 3 years simply vanished. The joint pain that had made every movement difficult disappeared completely. But more than that, Lisa could feel new abilities emerging. Her hearing became incredibly sharp. She could hear Dr. Vale's heartbeat and the humming of electronics in distant rooms. Her vision cleared, and she could see details in the dim light that should have been impossible to detect. "The transformation is nearly complete," Dr. Vale said. "How do you feel?" Lisa sat up slowly, amazed by how strong and energetic she felt. Her skin was glowing with the same soft light she had noticed on Dr. Vale. When she looked at her arms, the areas where her mysterious rashes had appeared were now marked with faint, beautiful patterns that seemed to shift and change as she watched. "I feel incredible," Lisa said, and she meant it. For the first time in 3 years, she felt truly alive. "The process will continue for several more hours," Dr. Vale explained. "Your body needs time to fully integrate the new genetic information. You should rest here while it completes." As Lisa lay back down on the crystal table, she realized that her old life was over. Whatever she was becoming, there would be no going back to the sick, tired person she had been. The thought should have terrified her, but instead she felt a deep sense of peace. She was finally becoming who she was meant to be. Lisa woke up feeling like she had been sleeping for days, but the clock on the wall showed only 4 hours had passed. The crystal table beneath her was still warm and humming softly. As she sat up, she immediately noticed that everything looked different. The room seemed brighter even though the lighting hadn't changed. She could see tiny details in the crystal formations that had been invisible before. Colors appeared richer and more vibrant. It was like someone had adjusted the settings on her vision and turned everything up to maximum clarity. "Good morning," Dr. Vale said, entering the room with a gentle smile. "How do you feel?" Lisa stretched her arms and was amazed by how strong and flexible she felt. The stiffness in her joints was completely gone. Her skin felt smooth and healthy, with a subtle glow that seemed to come from within. "I feel amazing," Lisa said, standing up without any of the usual effort it had required for the past 3 years. "It's like I have a completely new body." Dr. Vale handed her a mirror. Lisa gasped when she saw her reflection. Her eyes were brighter, almost luminous. Her skin had a healthy radiance she had never possessed, even before getting sick. The dark circles under her eyes had vanished and she looked younger somehow. "The physical changes are just the beginning," Dr. Vale explained. "Over the next few weeks, you'll discover abilities you never knew you had. But first, you need to learn how to blend in with regular humans. What do you mean? Lisa asked. Your enhanced senses and energy might be noticeable to others, Dr. Vale said. You'll need to learn to dim your natural glow and control your new abilities. Most humans aren't ready to know that people like us exist. Dr. Vale led Lisa to a comfortable sitting area, where she served tea in cups that seemed to be made of the same glowing crystal as everything else in the clinic. People like us? Lisa asked. I wasn't born this way, Dr. Vale admitted. I went through the same transformation you just experienced, about 15 years ago. I was dying from a rare blood disorder that no doctor could cure. Another healer, much like myself, saved my life and taught me everything I know. Lisa sipped her tea and was surprised by how incredibly flavorful it was. She could taste layers of herbs and spices that would have been undetectable before her transformation. What happened to the person who saved you? Lisa asked. She's still out there, helping others like us, Dr. Vale said. There's a whole network of people who have gone through this transformation. We find each other eventually, and we help guide newly awakened individuals. Over the next hour, Dr. Vale taught Lisa basic control techniques: how to dim her natural glow when around other people, how to dial down her enhanced hearing so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by every sound, how to control the strength that now flowed through her muscles. The most important thing, Dr. Vale emphasized, is to appear normal to your family and friends. They can't know what you've become, at least not yet. The world isn't ready for this knowledge. Lisa practiced walking and talking normally, suppressing the energy that wanted to radiate from her. It was harder than she expected. She felt like she was trying to dim a bright light that wanted to shine. What about my job? Lisa asked. I've been calling in sick for months. They probably think I'm unreliable. You'll find that work becomes much easier now, Dr. Vale said with a smile. Your mind is clearer, your body is stronger, and you have more energy than you've ever had. Just don't let anyone notice the dramatic improvement too quickly. Dr. Vale gave Lisa a special phone number. This connects you to our network, she explained. If you ever need help or have questions about your abilities, call this number. Someone will always answer. As Lisa prepared to leave the clinic, Dr. Vale handed her a small crystal pendant. Wear this, she said. It will help you maintain control while your abilities are still developing, and it will let other awakened individuals recognize you. The drive home felt surreal. Lisa's enhanced vision made driving almost effortless. She could see clearly in the dark and react to other cars with reflexes she had never possessed. What usually took 45 minutes took only 30, and she arrived feeling energized rather than tired. Her apartment looked different through her new eyes. She could see dust particles floating in the air and hear her neighbors' conversations. Through the walls, the smell of her neighbor's cooking was so intense she had to concentrate to block it out. Lisa looked in her bathroom mirror and practiced appearing normal. She dimmed her natural glow and tried to look like the sick, tired person she had been just hours before. It took several attempts, but eventually she managed to look convincingly human. The next morning, Lisa called her boss to say she was feeling better and ready to return to work. She was nervous about whether people would notice the change in her, but Dr. Vale had assured her that most humans only see what they expect to see. At work, Lisa's co-workers commented that she looked healthier, but no one seemed suspicious. Her productivity was incredible. Tasks that used to exhaust her were now effortless. She completed a week's worth of work in a single day. During lunch, Lisa sat in the company break room and quietly tested her new abilities. She could hear conversations happening 3 floors below. She could sense the emotions of people walking past her table. When she concentrated, she could even feel the electromagnetic fields generated by the building's electronics. 2 weeks after her transformation, Lisa received her first call on the special phone Dr. Vale had given her. It was from someone named Alex, who had just begun experiencing the same mysterious symptoms Lisa had suffered from. I found your number online, Alex said desperately. People say you know about strange illnesses that regular doctors can't cure. I don't know what's happening to me. Lisa felt a wave of compassion. She remembered exactly how hopeless and scared Alex must be feeling. I know someone who can help you, Lisa said gently. But you have to be open to possibilities that might seem impossible. As Lisa gave Alex the information about contacting Dr. Vale, she realized that her life had found new purpose. She wasn't just healed, she was now part of something bigger, a hidden community of evolved humans working quietly to help others like them. That night, Lisa stood on her apartment balcony and looked up at the stars. For the first time in her life, they didn't feel distant and unreachable. They felt like home. She could sense something out there, calling to the part of her that was no longer entirely human. Lisa smiled, understanding that her real journey was just beginning. She had spent 3 years fighting a mysterious illness, only to discover that she wasn't sick at all. She was becoming something magnificent. The future was full of possibilities she couldn't even imagine yet.